Okay, so now you can kind of see what it's going to look like here. This piece, we're going to actually glue this down right now. But it's going to kind of make our little cubbyhole kind of shape. And you can see with the glossy accents, it really holds the paper down really well. You just have to make sure you kind of burnish the paper down to the cardstock, and then it won't lift at all. So this is what it's going to look like essentially. So then all we have to do is just put our sides on. So here is where that 6x4 piece comes in that's not scored. So we're going to get our scoreboard out. Just lay it over top here. And you're going to score 1 inch at the 6, like on the 6-inch side. So score at 1 inch. And then again at 1 inch. And we don't need this right now, but we will be using this consistently over the next while, so make sure you always keep your scoreboard handy. So again, we're just going to fold at that 1 inch line. And then what I like to do is, actually we're not going to taper it right now. So what you need to do is when you glue this down, you're going to make sure it's centered as evenly as you can in the middle right here, so that way you have at least a little bit of an edge to use as your hinge. So we're going to glue this down here. That's why I like to use the glossy accents, because it gives me enough play time so that I make sure I'm centered as best as I can. This pattern is pretty forgiving, so if you're not completely in the center, as long as you have some overhang on both sides, you're good. It's just nice to have it centered so that way you make sure you have a lot of extra support. So then we're going to glue this in the middle right here, and again, when we lift it up, we're going to make sure when we lift it up we have that gap in here so that we can use our hot glue. Actually, right there we won't need our hot glue. I'll explain that in a minute. So we're just going to take this, we're going to glue this in the middle right here, and again lifting up just to make sure we have that gap. And then we're going to turn this over and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, I'm just lifting up just to make sure that it has that nice bend in it. And then again, I'm going to come in and glue that 2-inch piece down. So glue that down and then just hold it up. Just make sure we get that gap in there. Alright. So what we do now is a couple of things. You're going to need a cutting mat and an X-Acto knife. I guess add that to the list of supplies that you'll need. Should be things that you have on hand though. And you'll need a ruler. So this is how I do it. This is probably the best method I found. Because we're making this so that this wraps over and then it gets glued into here so that it has that support. So what you need to do is you need to cut down this way against the card or against the chipboard, but then you also need to cut like a little V or a little notch out of your cardstock, and that just gives your paper the movement it needs. It just makes it nice and neat. Alright, so then what you need to do, you're going to cut from here down to the very end of this chipboard this way. So we're not going to cut past this way, we're only going to come up to the chipboard. And I just hold it flat against this piece here and flat against this piece here, and then I know I'm straight. Alright, and then you're going to cut this way. It's nice and straight. Well, that wasn't straight. I guess do as I say, not as I do. And then this piece, if you want, is garbage or save it for scraps. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. So again, from the chipboard, the end of the paper, and then straight along this way. Or crooked. That's how I do it apparently. And then what I like to do here is just fold it just so that your cardstock gets the memory of what you want it to do. So it's going to go like that. And then what I like to do is just take my scissors and from this fold line, just again kind of notch the paper. Just so that you get this nice, oh sorry, I'm out of frame. Just so you get this nice edge in here. That way, in case your paper might not be exactly flush to the edge, you won't have that overhang. It won't bind. So we're going to do the other side. Same thing. So again, we're going to come on the sides. And then we're just going to do that notch. And again, side. And then the notch. And then cut up to the cardstock. And then cut away. So this project doesn't have a lot of waste to it. This is about as much waste as you'll get, as every time we make one of these edges, we'll get that little bit of residual waste left over, but in comparison to some projects, it's not a lot. Alright, so I just dropped some paper. So again, I'm just going to take this and give it that memory of that's where I want it to go. And then again, I'm just going to notch away some of that excess paper just to make that nice little edge. Alright, so in essence, this is what we're going to get. So you can kind of see how it's going to go. So these flaps are going to go on the outside of your box. So now, here is where the hot glue comes in. And hopefully I'm ready. Yes, I am. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to just go in this little notch here. Just cover all the way along. I kind of boo-booed, I went out of there a little bit. and then just hold it up. And that's going to give you enough support. Doesn't seem like it, but it is. It's quite a bit. And again, we're just going to go in that little groove. That was a little better that time. And then just hold it up.